joining metal casting and rapid prototyping. He is a reviewer of various refereed international and national journals. 11 research scholars are currently pursuing PhD under his guidance. We feel very honored by your presence, sir. On the behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, we once again welcome you, sir. We are eagerly waiting for you to hear your session, sir. Now I request Dr. M. Jayaraman, sir, to move the session forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jabir Begum and Subhatra for the nice introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, a little bit late. I apologize myself for this. So today we are in the fourth day of the Atal FDP on virtual reality and augmented reality organized by the Department of Computer Science. As you are all aware of that, the one of the session should be in the this Atal FDP is stress management. So today I will cover upon the emotional intelligence and the stress and also some of the aspects regarding to the changes. Can you tell me whether is it visible?
Yes, sir. Visible. Visible, sir.
Screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Screen is
Yes.
visible, sir.
Okay. Is it my voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yes. Okay. So before getting to the stress management, I am very happy to present the stress management for the participants across India. So as you are all aware of that, the stress is a word we are come across in various forms, various occasions for all walks of life of the people. So why the stress is always very important? Later we will see about so what are the causes and other things. So what are the sources for the stress? What is the main cause? So as of the general, if you see, there is a lot of changes happening in and around us. So these changes always moving us to in a faster way. So the transitional speed or the rate at which the change development is at a faster momentum. So we are unable to cope with these changes. So automatically we will feel the stress. So whenever it may be the personal or it may be the physical or psychological or whatever may be the things economical, but wherever if you are not meeting the demand, then it causes the stress. Either it may be the external or it may be the internal. So normally we used to call it as the stress, the pressure, all those things. So always I start my classrooms or any lecture with the change, because that is the word, the buzzword for the past 50 years. So if you go back 500 BC, a philosopher, Heraclitus, who said, you cannot step into the same river twice. You cannot step into the same river twice. That means by the time you are step into the second time, everything is constant, but the water is flowing, so it is not constant, it is flowing. So the changes are always permanent. The change is constant. We should accept this. It is happening from 500 BC to the AD era also. We could not see that, we should not think that now only we are getting the changes, now only we are having the pressure like that. Every time from the beginning of the existence of the earth, there is the change. The constant is there. So automatically, depend upon the changes happening, so we have to adapt to those changes. So those who are not cope with these changes, so they are all dethroned by the system. That is the thing. They are thinking that because of various reasons, I may be eliminated, I may be deprived. It is not like that. We as an individual should develop yourself or ourselves to cope with these changes. So then only there will not be much things. So that is why the Heraclitus, the only constant in life is change. We should think or we should accept. The second, the Mahatma said, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. So you are the best person. So you have to start with first your mind, then it should come out as a physical or whatever may be outward. So you have to believe in yourself, and the self belief only come out of this kind of the things. So if you want to change the world, you cannot change as it is in a fraction of time. It will take time. So you have to accept and you have to develop, then only you can face whatever may be the things. So that is why he said, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. For the change phenomena, the better I suggest a book called Future Shock, written by the futurist Alvin Toffler, who wrote this book in 1970 and released by August, it seems. So he only perceived what are all the changes going to happen down the line, the 50 years in 1970 itself. He wrote the book in 1970, but if you see the happenings in and around you, all about this dealt by the Alvin Toffler in the book Future Shock. That is why he told change is the process by which the future inverts our lives. The one more thing, since you are all the teaching fraternity in the science and engineering institutions and the technology you know very well, so the changes or the rapid change in the science and technology create a lot of fuss. 40 years back, we don't have much of the communication technology and the gadgets and other things. But now it is possible. So because of those availability of the communication or gadgets or electronic everything, so automatically we have to learn everything. The technology is swiftly changed. The changing speed is rapid. There is no equation. You cannot say that it is in the linear. It may be the exponential way. You cannot define by any of the equations. So because we are convinced, or we are very much very much familiar with one technology today. By the time next day you are getting another technology, then day after you will get one more technology. But if you see that the duration expectancy of the gadget or technology or whatever may be the machines or the process or system is reduced. Previously, it may be 10 years or 20 years, there will not be any change. You can be as it is. But now, the swift changes are happening. At the same time, we have to change ourselves to the environment. So where we are giving the resistance or reluctance, there comes the problem, the stress. If you see that, it may be the individual, it may be a organization or institution, maybe a state or country. Those who are unable to change themselves are slowly dethroned by the system, not by anybody else. We have to accept this. You have to change. You have to adapt to this. The adaptability is very much important because there is a dynamic changes. So this will create the problems. Then next, if you see that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. The adage given by the Alvin Toffler in 1970, it is very much true. I used to tell in all the classrooms or any delivery in the lecture, the learn, unlearn, relearn. Learning today, we are getting another technology, unlearning tomorrow, we are getting another technology, we are relearning whatever the things. So, if you are not updated yourself, slowly you will be outdated. You may be a teacher or the lecturer or professors or any of the IT professionals or the entrepreneurs or labor force. So whatever may be the position, but all walks of life influenced by this change. The impact of the change is always there in everyone across the globe. So that will create a lot of fuss, that is creating the anxiety, because if you are not knowing a new technology, automatically anxiety comes. If you are unable to cope with the changes, automatically change. For example, a bullock cart worker will be familiarized in bullock cart only. But suddenly, if you shift or change here to that lot, what else may be the A's or any of the automobiles, is it possible? Because if you want to drive the vehicle, you should have or you should possess the driver license. For taking the driver license, you should have the minimum eligibility of passing the 8th standard or whatever may be. So, how will you expect a bullock cart worker? He has been familiarized in for the past 20 years or 30 years. Suddenly, we are changing him. It is very difficult. If you see previously, lot of street vendors are there in the tea shops. But now, slowly changed into a tea shops with the interiors and light and other things. How will you expect? So it is only a simple example. So lot of things. Even in teaching, we have been very much familiar in chalk and talk method, but due to this pandemic, suddenly everyone should change to the online education. So we are very fortunate that is there, the teaching fraternity, the willpower, whatever the change is happening, we will change because we are familiar with the science and technology and the engineering. We are all teachers. working in the there is engineering or a technological institutions. So we don't have much, but it is very difficult in the school and other educational institutions. But even then, whether we have changed 100%, we don't know. The students should tell. How? I am very much familiar with the interactive way of meeting students inside the classroom. I could manage or I could tell whatever may be the things. But suddenly you are changed into a screen. You are talking in front of a wall or a screen, but you don't know the faces who are all listening or viewing all those things. Then there comes the problem. So you have to elevate yourself. The teaching methodology, the pedagogy should be changed to the new environment. So this is the thing we have to understand. As you are all aware of that, the scientist Moore, who is the founder or co-founder of the Intel, so who gave that the Moore's law in 1958, the number of transistors per square inch on integrated circuits had doubled every year since their invention. So the durational expectancy of a hardware, whatever made by the IC, is only 2 years. If you say that software, it may be the 6 months or 3 months. So that is there. We have been changing. If you see that the graph shows that he gave the theory in 1958, they thought that it is going to be ceased by in the year 2000. It is not like that. We have been developing lot of things. Now we are ended with core 20 and then dual core, all those things. So many millions transistor in a small nanometer level. So such changes happening in the hardware. So automatically the hardware gets improved, then the software we have to improve. So because of the hardware and software, so many gadgets changes their own the evolutionary design. Then everything has changed. So these are all the reasons forces us to learn daily or minute by minute. So that gives the pressure, enormous stress. So automatically everybody feeling or felt or everybody getting impacted by this kind of the swift changes. These changes or the adaptness, inability to adapt to changes always create the inner stress or the whatever may be the things. So that is why we are unable to manage. The next, the one more things, because of this, the many of the stalwarts are explaining the generation. You should know about this because these are the fundamental causes for stress. The generation, those who born between 1900 to 1945 may be called as traditionalists. 1946 to 64, the baby boomers. Then 1965 to 76, generation X or Gen X. Then born between 77 to 97, millennial or Gen Y, generation Y, or after 97 to up to 2005 or 2010 are called as generation Z or Gen Z. Now, since 2015, it may be generation Alpha. Still, it is not named correctly. So these are all the names given by evolutionary way. So if you see that the generation belongs to each thing, the characteristics changed. So if you see that World War II, civil women's right, Gulf War, community service, optimistic. Now, the bio war. If you see that the characters is disciplined, experimentally, independent, immediately high expectations. So if you see that totally there is a gap between the generation, it is not created by individuals, it created by the natural phenomena. So the change is a natural phenomena. Because of the natural phenomena in 2020 in the form of pandemic, 2-3 months the whole world is paralyzed. Everybody kept themselves inside the house. Then automatically the nature correct themselves with this pollution. We thought that how the nature is going to correct themselves, correct itself with this the pollutions. But because of the natural phenomena, the pandemic or the COVID-19, there everywhere, if you see that, if you measure between the March and then the May, the air quality index is getting improved, the rivers are flowing with a clear water, and there is no much of the noise. So everything is changed. The ecosystem gets corrected itself. So that is why now we are getting very good rain and everything. If you see that now the air quality index is somewhat improved. So this is the natural phenomenon. It is happening millions of million years. We are thinking that it is created by the human being or life. It is not like that. We are governed by the nature. So nature made itself the correction. In the same way, we are also having the capacity to change ourselves. So that is why a human being with their sixth sense, the cognition and the affective domain, or it may be the psychomotor skills, we are able to change ourselves with any of the changes across the world. So whoever may be the individuals, the generation already explained. Next, we will move on to the stress. Due to this phenomena, everybody felt the feelings or the emotions. I will deal with the emotional intelligence first, then I will relate to the stress management. It is more or less interlinked. So the feelings, what is the difference between the feelings and emotions? Feelings always is inside the person. The emotions always coming out. Whenever it is the feelings are coming out, it is termed as the emotions. Basically, as a human being, we are having the 6 basic emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Later, 6 basic emotions are converted into 27 emotions. The happy, afraid, sad, hot, amused, bored, anxious, confident. You are now familiarized with this kind of the smiley emojis and other things, because we are living with the emojis or smileys rather than giving the text messages. Instead of writing a paragraph, instead of writing a sentence, you could say everything in a single emoji or a smiley. So that is the step. So these are all the emotions. So what are the things? Previously, we used to call it as the intelligent quotient or intelligence only. So now We are introducing one more terminology, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. So in what way it is related to the emotions? Because the emotions may be the positive or negative. The negative emotions are there, positive emotions are there. Some of the emotions are for the betterment of our life or development. For some of the emotions are maybe causing troubles for our own day-to-day life. We are unable to change ourselves. So that is why the emotional intelligence is also important. So during the 1990, Peter Salovey and John Mayer, who coined this word, that is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. So they are the person coining this word. The definition is the emotional intelligence is the capacity of recognizing our own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions in ourselves as well as in our relationships. It is simply defined as the ability to recognize and managing their own emotions and others' emotions. Very simple. Emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to identify, recognize, and manage our own emotions and others. So we should not confine with our own emotions. We should always know how to handle or manage others' emotions, because we are not going alone, we are moving with the team. Inside the home or outside the home or workplace or society, we are always moving with the people, not by ourselves. That is why you should have the emotional intelligence. Now, what is the difference between emotional persons and emotional intelligent person? The emotional intelligent person are the person, those who are handling the emotions very well. The emotional persons are everybody on the globe are the emotional persons. As a sixth sense, we used to have the emotions, we have to feel it, we have to come out of the emotions. Outburst is always there. So the emotional persons are always there. All are emotional because we have to feel it. It may be the fear, or it may be the sad, or it may be the fun or the happy. So we have to enjoy ourselves. We have to feel the sad. So everybody is not that way. All are emotional persons, but all are not having the emotional intelligence. You should think of the difference. The persons who are all having the better managing capacity on the emotions, then they are called as they are possessing the emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligent persons, the order may be varied. It may be the less or medium or high. But if you are able to manage the emotions, then you are better person. That is why the intelligent quotient is not relevant in certain cases, because everyone is having their own cognitive level intelligence, but they are not successful person. So then that is why they introduced this terminology. Even though Peter Salovey and John Mayer, they introduced this terminology, but it is well versed in the society after the Daniel Goleman, who wrote a book on emotional intelligence in 1995. If you are having the chance, the soft copy is available. Audio the audio copy also is available. You can read that book. In that book, he gave the importance of emotional intelligence and what are all the other factors. So, before getting to this, the Harvard University, they did one experiment, that a experiment or test called as marshmallow test. You know that marshmallow is a sweet dessert. So marshmallow test, what they did in 1908, they chosen a kindergarten students. They are all 4 years old. They get into a classroom and they gave one marshmallow to each student, and they gave one condition: if you are waiting for 20 minutes, if you are not consuming one marshmallow for 20 minutes, you are having the chance to get one more. So some of the students immediately they ate those sweets, and some of the students they got one more marshmallow. So they had two marshmallows. After 14 years, after their completion of the school education, they wrote the Scholastic Aptitude Test SAT exam. As you are all aware of that, that is a mandatory in US for getting into the undergraduate in any of the colleges or universities. After analyzing the SAT score of those students, they found that those who are got one marshmallow, their scores average of SAT test 1052. Whereas those students got the two marshmallows, their average SAT score is 1252. That means there is a 20% performance better. So they found that those who are delaying their impulse, those who are having the complete impulse control, they are capable of performing better. It is not like that other students scored less mark. It is not that they also scored 1052, but better than those students, these students scored. That is why they found that the emotional intelligence is a critical one for those leaders, entrepreneurs, or the managers, or whoever may be in the highest echelon in the any of the state systems. So emotional quotient is critical to managing your behavior, moving smoothly through social situation, and making critical choices in life. That is why the emotional intelligence is very much important. It is very much relevant to the stress management, because if you are a better person, if you are an emotionally intelligent person, there will not be much problem on stresses. Later we'll see. As per the Daniel Goleman emotional intelligence, he gave the 5 factors for the improvement, or the components, or qualities, or the skills. Those who are having the 5 skills: self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, and social skills, they are all better emotionally intelligent person. So if you want to improve your own emotional intelligence, you want to be a better emotional intelligent person, then you should improve in self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, social skills. So the first factor is the self-awareness. It is nothing like knowing your own emotions and others. So knowing your own emotions is the fundamental factor of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness. You should aware yourself. Instead of finding fault with always others, you introspect yourself and find what are all the happening in yourself, what are all the fault. Then there will not be any problem. We are always finding fault with others. We are always finding fault with the system. We are always finding fault with others. But we are forget about ourselves. We are also in the system, but we are always blaming the system. The system is interconnected, a group of persons or the process. Unless otherwise knowing yourself, it is very difficult. That is why ancients saying, there is a Ramana from Adamalai, Tiruvannamalai, who wrote, he said, who am I? So the Ramana Maharishi only gave this word, this, who am I? You should ask yourself whether you are doing good, whether you are doing bad, or we are not improved. Everybody is having their own intelligence. So everything is depends on you. Believe in yourself. That is why the self-belief is that is very much important. So you should aware or you should know your own emotions and recognize your feelings and emotions. When I am making out the emotions, when I am showing others on the negative sides, then when I will handle this situation, what went wrong, what are the causes, who provoked, or what are all the provoking elements. So how I am very often getting the emotions, the anger, or whatever may be, tension, anxiety, whatever may be the things. Then if you are knowing your own emotions, it is very easy. John Mayer told that being aware of both mood and one thoughts about your mood. You should know about your own mood. You have to live to the present, not worrying about the past and expecting what happens in the future. You live to the present. There will not be any problem. Don't expect other things, others, much on any other things. Then there will not be any problem at all. Forget about past. Don't see about the future. Live to the present. Then there will not be any problem. You have to give whatever you are having capacity or capability or ability to give this world. You give this world a better you are having, possessing. Then the world will give you the best. Definitely, it may be today or tomorrow or 1 month or 1 year or 5 years. Then definitely whatever you are doing good or whatever you are doing good in this society, you will get back in a better way, in best way. The ability to identify and name the emotions by keeping yourself in non-reactive, non-judgmental. That is why we are always having the rational behavior, but normally some of the time, if you are emotional, person, or there is, if you are having the emotions at that time, it will shut the thinking ability, cognitive ability, then automatically you will be handled with the emotions. So you have to manage your emotions, but emotion should not manage yourself. There, there is emotion should follow yourself, but the emotion, or you should not follow your own emotions. Then only there will not be any problem. By the non-impulsive way, you should see that what are all the happenings, what are all the emotions, feelings. That is called the self-awareness. Aware yourself. So you should aware yourself, then there will not be any problem at all. You have identified and recognize your emotions. Then second, the skill or factor is self-regulation or self-management. It is nothing but managing the emotions. If you are knowing the emotions, when and where and how much you are giving out, then only you can manage. Wherever possible, the you have to manage your emotions, or that is why the self-regulation. Regulate yourself first, then the self-management or the self-regulation, the ability to managing the emotions. Here comes, you should not think that I should suppress the emotions, numb the emotions. It is not possible. As a human being, we are all emotional persons. Always feel we have to out. We have to be out. You should not keep everything inside you. If you keep yourself, all the stresses at one time, it will vent as an outburst. That causes a major damage. So that is why don't suppress. It is not possible for anybody else. The saint may be suppressing their emotions. As a human being, it is not possible. Don't suppress. Leave it as it is and you manage it. Then second, don't numb the emotions. Without the emotions, you cannot live in this world. We are not a stone. We are not a wood. We are not a metal. We are human being. So you should not numb the emotions. You should not suppress. Rather, you should manage the emotions. So there is a Aristotle philosopher told that appropriate emotion to the circumstances. It is very much important. What are all the emotions I should come out in this juncture? In what way I should behave in front of the students inside the classroom? What way I should behave in front of the senior professors or the HODs or the management or workplace or in front of these family members. So you should know where and where, how much. So you should know this. That is why appropriate emotions to the circumstance. You have to manage your own emotions. Diffuse challenging emotions. You identify what are all the negative emotions, what are all the positive emotions. You groom your positive emotions and diffuse the negative emotions. Slowly you do it. It is not possible immediately. So we have to behave better because you are not alone. You have to move with the people. You have to maintain the relationship with either students or the faculty member colleagues or the management or the HODs or the principal or with other societal members or with other faculty members or with the family members or the relatives. So This is the second. Then the third is very much important. Self-awareness, self-regulation. The third is the self-motivation. So if you are motivate yourself, then you should know harnessing the power of your emotions. You have to reap the benefits. Harnessing the potential of your emotions is the main thing. You should know it is an art. You know your emotions. You are regulating your emotions. Now, how the emotions will give a better way. Because of those things, you will be improved. You will get developed. You will get a better position. You will feel better in your life. Your quality of life getting improved. Quality of life is nothing but we have to be very happy with the material, at the same time whatever the thing, the spiritual way. The both are very much important. We cannot say that money is not needed. If money alone, the life. Money is the major thing, but that is not alone the life. The life is beyond. The satisfaction or the happiness is beyond that. It is a 360-degree. It is a dimension. It is having the multi-dimensionality. It is a 360-degree evaluation. You may be satisfied in one area, 60 to 90 degree, but in certain area you may not felt good. It is very difficult. So that is why it is very much important, the performance. The performance is the self-motivation. You should know about the harnessing the power of your emotions. There is a relationship between the performance and stress. Now I am coming into that one more theory. Erkis Dodson, they did this experiment in 1908. So they did the experiment. I'm sorry that there is this marshmallow test in 1960. This Erkis Dodson theory philosophy did in 1908. 2% they came as a how to relate with the performance and the stress. The stress and the performance, the stress or pressure or whatever may be the thing. So they did an experiment. It is a maze. Inside a rat is placed, and surrounding the maze there is a equipment to give the electric shocks. So there is a control of giving the electric shocks. Initially, the rat is kept inside the maze, and there is a one way to come out, and the rat tried to move on slowly to see how to get away. Slowly they increase the level of the shocks. The shocks getting increased, then there is increased. Then at one point of time, the rat gets tired and they could not move further. So they formed from this behavior Erkis-Dodson law. It is a inverted U curve. It is an inverted U curve. The x-axis is the level of stress or the pressure. The y-axis the performance. They found that a certain stress improving the individual performance. So if you are not having much stress, you will be getting bored. If the stress improve to certain level, optimum level, then you will get the optimum performance. So that stress is called eustress, positive stress. The stress is positive, called as eustress. This, suppose if you are giving more pressure, more stress on individuals, what happened after reaching the pinnacle or the optimum, their ability is getting down, fatigue, exhaustion, breakdown, burnout. Finally, it is a distress, negative stress, negative pressure. That is why you have to know about your own inverted U curve. So many persons are there, it is not the same. A HOD is having different U curve. There is a X-Dodson curve or this stress curve, but lower bound faculty members are maybe having some other things. So you are able to know about their own the stress cycle. According to that, they have to choose. If you are well known with so many work, then you can do whatever may be the things. But you know your level. Beyond that, you should not do. That is why certain way too many stresses causing good. A certain way it will be a, so the stress or pressure may be a positive or negative, depends on individual ability. So now Erkig-Dodson law, if you see that the sum of the person is low profile, stress profile, some of the persons are having high profile. Even you are giving so many stress, they could do better in their way. In some of the persons are having the medium. It depends on, if it is a new task, the stress cycle will be very low. If it is a well-known task, easy task, repetitive task, you are having the stress profile greater one. So here you have to see that you have to try to move this curve, stress curve to the right side, shift to the right. That is the important. Shift this curve slowly to the right. It is not easy to in a single day. You have to practice yourself. Then only you will come across. So shift to the right. Well rested, good sleep, good handle on life stressors, then there will not be any problem. So over good and optimum. So you should improve your stress cycle. So this is called the self-motivation. The fourth skills requirement or the fourth parameters or the factors, empathy. It is very much important. What do you mean by empathy? You have to analyze or see the problems with other man's shoes. We used to tell that. See the problem with other man's shoes. You have to stand other man's shoes and see the problem. So you should not always perceive the problems in your own area. You should perceive the problems in opposite way also. As a HOD, he should see, he should know about the other problem, faculty members. The faculty members should also know about the problems of the HOD or the principal or whoever maybe. Because why? They are pressurizing to complete certain way. When it comes NB or NAC or ISO audit or whatever NAR of ranking or the admission or result performance. So you should know it should be a both way. Empathy is somewhat different from the sympathy. Sympathy is you are feeling for others, but empathy is should not feel, but you should understand others' emotion. That is why initially told that emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, recognize, manage your own emotion, others' emotion. You should know about others' emotion. Then only you can decide. So empathy is very much important. In engineering design also, we used to tell the design thinking. The first step of the design thinking is empathize. Because you should know about customer problems. You should know about those who are utilizing the software, hardware. They should be the better person. So whatever the customer's requirement, we have to meet those requirements. We have to design a product, produce a product, and you have to maintain a product. So the empathy is very much important. You should know about others' emotions, even though it is not in your workplace alone, in your home, in your house, with your relations. You should apply this. Before getting to anything, you should see the problems. You have to analyze the problems with others' view. Then the fifth is very much important, the social skills. Because we have to handle the relationship, not only in house or in society, handle the relationship in the workplace. It may be the institutions or anywhere else. So we are moving with the team. So always there will be a problem, because yeah, department is having 18 members or 9 members, or it may be 24 or whatever maybe. Then individuals, they are all individuals. Individuals are having their own opinions. Opinions may differ, but facts will not differ. You should understand. Because of the opinions, there will be conflicts between the persons. But if you analyze the fact, there will not be any conflict. The conflict arises because of there is opinions difference, not the facts. So the social skills are very much important. If you are having the self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, automatically you will learn this social skills. Now you can put one question. The intelligence or cognitions is always somewhat the inborn. But the emotional intelligence is not inborn. You have to develop, you have to groom it. That is why we have to learn a lot from our own childhood. We are learning a lot of emotional intelligence, or what are the things, how to managing emotions from our own ancestors, our own elders, our own relatives, our own persons, philosophers. So we have to learn a lot from in the school teachers or the college professors. So we are learning a lot. So it is a learning ability. You have to acquire this. You have to improve this. You have to groom it, develop it. Then only you will be a better emotional intelligent person. Now I am linking with the stress management with the emotional intelligence. If you are managing your own emotion and others better, then there will not be any problem at all. The stress management is stress, you are managing your stress very well. Even though I will give some of the things. The stress is condition of feeling experience when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is able to mobilize. Whenever there is, we are not able to give the supply to the demand, then there will be a stress. People feel little stress when they have the time, experience, and resources to manage the situation. They feel greater stress when they think that they cannot handle the demands put upon them. You are not handling the emotions, your emotion and other emotions. There will be a greater stress emotions. The list of stresses upon a teacher, lesson planning, accountability for student performance. classroom management, supervisory role, extracurricular activity, taking work home, difficult students, difficult classes, lack of administrative support, pressure from parents, teachers' evaluation, faculty, there is a self evaluation, ongoing learning. We have to learn a lot. Social isolation, job uncertainty is there in some extent. Integration of intelligence and technology, change in the curriculum. So these are all the stresses always there, but we should know how to manage ourselves. Understanding the causes in your understand the long-term stress, understand the most serious sources, make best use of all of the resources available to you, find stress management techniques that will be helpful and plan to manage stress. Learn to plan, recognize and accept limits, talk out your problems, avoid unnecessary teachers competition, learn to play a sport, decide to be positive, love yourself more than anybody else, exercise, change your surroundings, do meditate and believe yourself, then there will not be any problem at all. Thank you. I conclude my speech. There is a phenomena, fight or flight. Fight or flight. We are having the individual willpower. We can stand and fight. You should not fly away for the problems. Then there will not be anything. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any queries, you can post it in the chat box. Participants, if you have any queries, kindly post it in the chat box.
So anybody is having any queries, they can unmute and ask me. Any queries? Otherwise, you can give the feedback also. Anybody?
Sir,
Try to
post it
unmute.
in the chat box, sir.
Otherwise, you can give the chance to unmute, ma.
Okay, sir. So one person have asked, how can we balance stress in workplace?
Already I told that you have to learn because it is not a common phenomena. So you have to try to follow certain way, and you should not keep much on your head, and automatically it will be reduced.
Okay, sir. Another one, ma'am, Narmada have asked a query. Can you explain emotions and emotional intelligence again, sir?
So emotions are always there. Whatever the feelings are inside, emotions are outside. Whatever feeling we are coming out, that may be called as emotions. Emotion, we are all emotional persons. You should know about emotional person and the emotionally intelligent person. Emotional persons are always exhibiting their emotions. Everyone will exhibit. But emotionally intelligent person is the person is having the ability to identify, recognize, managing their own emotion and others' emotions. Very simple. Emotional intelligence is defined as recognizing and managing their emotions and others' emotions. That's all. I do agree. We are all emotional persons. You cannot suppress. You are not a saint. We have to do that. If you want to laugh, you have to laugh. There is no hiding at all. Anybody? You can give the provision to unmute. Subhatra?
Sir, it's available, sir, but they are posting in chat box on this.
Okay. I request anybody want to ask directly, you unmute your mic, then you ask me. Whether you understood or there is a gap. Very good. If you are taking the stress in the positive direction, there will not be any problem. Because conducting examinations itself is stress or the pressure. I have to complete the 5 units. I have to score 90 marks, then only I will get the S grade. Then it is a stress condition. I should complete my PhD. I should publish 3 to 4 papers in refereed SCI journals. Then only I can be promoted as associate professor or professor. So by going away the stress, you cannot do that. You should take it as a positive way. You can achieve. That is why I told that. Fight or flight. You should stand and fight. Then there will not be any problem at all. Don't fly away for these problems. It will not give the solution. So it is also a nice question. It is as easy, it is a subjective or objective. There are indices for measuring the intelligent quotient, IQ. We can say that Einstein is having 150 or 160. This person is having this much. Because we are all having a standard questionnaires. We are all having the standard test by which we can assess any of the IQ level. But there is no much of the test to measure the emotional intelligence. As of now, slowly coming out, still it is not a subject. So you cannot measure it. For me, some of the emotions may be a greater level, but others it may be a lesser level. I may be a humorous person, but I should not expect the same from others. Other person may be a serious. Some of the persons are introvert, some of the persons are extrovert. So you cannot say that. So you should not underestimate. All the introvert persons are not emotionally intelligent. Many of the introvert persons are able to manage their own emotion and other emotions. You cannot say that. That is why I told that it is not the inborn, it is a grooming, and you have to develop yourself. The skill, this skill should be developed or groomed. No other way. Any queries? You can very well identify the stress of your child, because everybody is playing their own the gadgets, the mobile phones. If you are grabbing your, if you avoid him or to use the mobile, then you would see the stress level of your own child. So nowadays, the parents are telling that we are unable to manage our children. It is not the fault of the child. I already told that the younger generation are having much better learning ability, the learning speed, reading speed. There is a much technology oriented. So that is why we are unable to cope with them. That is why we are telling that we are unable to manage. It is very difficult. They are thinking fast. Their thinking ability is very fast because the child who born in this era visualizing different environment, but we born in 1960 or 70 or 80, we perceived this world and we understand some of the things. We learned a lot from this perception is different. The perception itself is different from nowadays and the previous days. So that is why we are unable to cope with changes. No other go. You have to change yourself, then only you can cope the changes and you can manage your bots better. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, hope all participants have cleared their doubts. Thank you, sir, for describing about how to cope up with the changes around us, relationship between emotional intelligence and stress management, and important factors like self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, and empathy, and suggesting some useful books to our faculties. And a valuable quote for the day: live to the present. Once again, we thank you for sharing your treasured knowledge with us, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Participants
you.
can join the tomorrow session at 9:30 a.m. with the same link. Thank you, sir.